Joining me now in Xfinity Studio is General Manager Bob Quinn. Bob, you're done with the 2019 NFL Draft. How do you feel about the draft class you came out with?
Feel great. Feel like we really improved our team from top to bottom. Added guys on both sides of the ball, bigger guys, smaller guys, skill guys. I feel we upgraded the depth of the team, added some playmakers on both sides of the ball. So we're really excited to get these guys out here and get started.
We'll run through your draft class quickly here, but you talked a little bit about your second round pick, Jelani Tavai, in your post-draft press conference that night, and you talked about how you felt like some other teams might have some interest in him. Why did you feel like that was the case?
Going through the process before the draft, we do a pretty in-depth analysis of team needs, what other teams need for their team, what players they have interest in, and we kind of do a lot of research on that. So we just felt there was teams right behind us that needed an inside linebacker, had visited with Jelani, had a workout with him. So we're just getting a little nervous, but fortunately we stood pat at that pick and ended up taking him. So it was a good addition to our team.
You've talked about how there's a certain type of linebacker that fits in this defense, and there's only a few guys every year that fit that. Can you expound on why that is and why there's a certain type of linebacker you look for in this defense?
Yeah, I think in college football what's happening is the faster athletes are getting asked to move to play linebacker, so usually the faster guys are a little bit smaller. So, obviously size is a big thing for our linebackers. So we like bigger, thicker guys that are, weigh 240 to 255 pounds. So some of the guys that are a little bit lighter than that, a little bit, let's say faster, really don't have a great role on our base defense. So it's just college football is going in the other direction where it's smaller, lighter, faster. And I think the NFL is still a big man's game, so the bigger linebackers are just harder to find.
All right, well, we've heard from you a lot on the first 2 days of picks, so let's talk about day 3 picks that we haven't talked to you too much about yet. You had 2 defensive linemen today in Austin Bryant and P.J. Johnson. How do you see them fitting in along Matt Patricia's defensive line?
Yeah, Austin's an edge player, so he'll play defensive end / outside linebacker. He'll play 2 spots. He'll learn those 2 spots, and we'll work him inside to kind of rush as a 3 technique as well. PJ's a big guy, probably played nose tackle to 3 to 5. He's kind of a 6'3.5", 330 something a pound, big man. So that's light on his feet, a good athlete. So we'll throw him inside and kind of see how they do.
In your defensive back group, you add Amani Aruwariye, and you also add Will Harris. How do they fit into that group that you already have?
Versatile guys, fast, athletic, competitive, good special teams players, good defensive players, playmakers. I think we increased our team speed and our athleticism in the secondary.
All right, and then you added another tight end after taking T.J. Hawkinson in the first round. How did you end up with Isaac Nada?
Isaac's the guy we had a really good scouting grades in all year. Isaac had a little bit of a disappointment in terms of his combine numbers, but kept going back and watching the film, and this guy got open in the SEC as a tight end. The more Georgia Bulldogs around here, the better.
Well, big picture, you mentioned that combine versus what you see on film. How do you weigh that when it comes to looking at a guy in the draft?
It's a combination. You got to take both things into account. I'll always take play speed over time speed, but there has to be some correlation. So it's something we look at, but some positions a little bit more important than others. But it's something that is taken into account in terms of the grading of the player, and we'll always look at that as the entire body of work, and then really just follow the board.
You mentioned in your post-draft press conference just that, following the board, and that is what you try to focus on in day 3. Why is that the case in day 3, that it's important to stick to the board and not make any reaches on that 3rd day? Yeah,
once you get to the 3rd day, and luckily we had multiple picks today that we were able to use to improve the team, you don't want to reach for a need unless it's a glaring need. And I didn't think going into day 3 we had a glaring need on the team. So we followed the board and just kind of took them off as they came and really followed it. And usually in the end, if you add to a position group and you kind of have to improve that, then you really feel good at the end of the day because you have so much depth if an injury happens or something else happens down the road.
All right, well, we've got free agency, we've got the draft. You say you feel like you have no glaring needs now on your roster. What's next for you guys?
We'll take tomorrow off. It'll be a nice day to kind of rest and see the family, and then we'll get back at it Monday. Our players are on the field for phase 2 of the off-season program, so it'll be good to see those guys run around and do some actual football drills. And then, we always do our post-draft analysis of what we did good, what we could improve on, and then we'll always go back and look at the free agent list for the with the pro department. So it's one of those things where there's probably still a good number of pro free agents out there that we'll evaluate compared to the guys we have, and we're always trying to improve the team.
All right, well, enjoy that day off. I'm sure you guys need it. Thanks so much for taking some time with us.
Great. Thanks for having me.